What up, everybody? I'm the Survivalpunk. You can call me Punk for short. And this is the very first video of my how to play Smite videos, or my Smite strategy videos, I mean. Where I'm going to be doing character builds, well, god builds. We're going to be doing videos on the basics and tools of the trade of how to play the game, terms that you might be using, like ganking, for example. And then we're going to be doing rundowns of the gods' abilities as well, how they work, the benefits, also the pros and cons of auto-leveling and of the items and the levels. So, as you can see, we're going to be doing the very first video, I mean, is going to be a build on Neath. She's basically the mascot of Smite, essentially. And she's also one of the free characters that you can play that are always in rotation. So we're going to do all the rotation characters first. That way, if you're new to Smite, these are the characters that you're most likely be playing regularly, because they're the characters that are always in rotation as of the free rotation. That being said, let's jump right into this. Now, just to let you know, there's other builds you can look at. Like, there's the standard, which is a good rundown, and the arena, which is a good rundown of different ways to play the character. And basically, what you're going to be doing is, if you're starting Smite, if this is your first time playing, what I would normally do is basically, what I'm trying to say is do the auto levels and do the auto items, at least until you're comfortable. That way, you're not hindering the other players. You're kind of getting a feel for everything. You're getting an idea of how everything works. So I would suggest the standard or arena auto levels at first. That being said, in Smite, one of the options you can do is do a custom build, and then have and then turn auto levels on for that build, and basically it'll automatically get the items you wanted for you. And it won't just not give you any items and save up for that item. It'll actually buy items along the way until it gets to the item you wanted, and then get each item in the specific order that you had it in. Now, that being said, we're going to dig right into Neath, and we're actually going to start with abilities. Not trying to get convoluted or move everything around, but this is just a better spot to start with. Neath's abilities are actually very interesting. Her first ability is her basically her passive. Each god has a passive among their 6 abilities, and her passive is Broken Weave. A Broken Weave appears at the last location that each enemy god dies. The Broken Weaves give her abilities secondary effect when used on the Broken Weaves. These weaves last for 1 minute. Spirit Arrow is a projectile attack you can use. It's really good for the minions, mobs of minions, which in the game, minions, they line up. You'll learn what minions are first time playing. We're just gonna skip that. But that being said, Neath fires a shot that passes through everything. Each enemy hit takes damage and is rooted, which means they can't move for a certain amount of time. 1 second to all the way to 2 seconds at 20th level. If the Spirit Arrow hits a Broken Weave, the weave detonates, dealing an additional 100% of the damage and applying the root to all enemies in the area. Her next ability is Unravel. Neath neatly unravels the world weaves, damaging all enemies in the target area, reducing their attack speed and healing. Neath, for each enemy hit up to 3, any broken weaves in the area are removed, healing Neath an additional amount, which is really awesome. It's a really good self-heal. It gives her a lot of staying power, which is a little good because, honestly, hunters and assassins don't have a lot of staying power. They're basically glass cannons. So, moving on, her next ability is Backflip, which again gives her decent survivability, allowing you to really hit and run with Neath, which is really good because that's what your goal is as an assassin or a hunter class, is you want to hit and then you want to run because you can't take hits yourself. You just want to dish it out real quick and then escape. Get the kill, or at least set up a kill for one of your other party members in the team. Backflip is what it does. Neath backflips through the air, creating a broken weave as she leaps away while damaging and slowing enemies in the area in front of her. That being said, which is a 25% slow, which is actually pretty good. And the duration's up to 4.5 seconds at 20th level, starting at 2.5 at first level. That being said, the backflip will basically help you escape from enemies. It sends you a good 20 feet, 20 meters away, 20 feet away from the enemies, allowing you to escape from them. Plus, they're slowed, so it gives you that chance. And her final ability, sorry, is the World Weaver. Neath charges up and fires an arrow across the world, seeking its target through obstacles. Enemy gods take damage and are stunned. The arrow can be fired quicker for diminished results. Maximum damage is 490 plus 120% of the physical power. And the stun duration is up to a second, 1.5 seconds, sorry. Now, when it comes to Neath, what I always start with is backflip. The reason I always start with backflip, that's the reason it's always my first ability, is, again, hit and run tactics. I want to dish out a little bit of damage, and if things get hairy, or they start to trying to group up at me, or I need to get out of there, I can backflip. I can escape the situation. That being said, the second ability is Spirit Arrow, because, again, you need to do something about those minions in the lane. You need to clean up your lane, and also, again, gives you kind of a chance to escape, and at the same time helps your allies because of the rooting, which is really good. So let's say you're hitting the lane, then two gods come up at you. You can hit the lane with a Spirit Arrow, root at least one, hopefully both the gods, and then backflip out, slowing them at the same time, cementing your escape, and possibly even setting up a kill for your allies. Then the next attack on the agenda is Unravel, which gives you a little bit of heal and has the secondary effects of slowing. It was an attack speed debuff? Yes, attack speed debuff. Sorry. And that being said, you can start a drinking game on how many times I said that being said. Sorry. That's the order of importance. Is Spirit Arrow, okay, sorry. Then you get World Weaver. So it's... I just made this convoluted, I'm sorry. So basically, you get 1 point in backflip, 1 point in Spirit Arrow, then 1 point in Unravel, another point in Spirit Arrow, and then World Weaver. And that's the order of importance, which I was trying to say is Spirit Arrow, World Weaver, and then Unravel. Which is weird, because I said backflip is the first thing you need to get, but backflip is unnecessary for the rest of it. So as you can see on the list here, backflip, Spirit Arrow, Unravel, Spirit Arrow, World Weaver, Spirit Arrow, Unravel, World Weaver, Spirit Arrow, Unravel, backflip, World Weaver, Unravel, backflip, Unravel, World Weaver, backflip, World Weaver. And that's just the perfect order to do it in, because the most important ability is Spirit Arrow. The second most important ability is Unravel, because that's your healing. Both moves are your main damage dealers. Now, backflip is probably the most important ability in your entire kit here, because of the fact that it gives you that good escape, but the escape is all you need, so you only need the 1 point in the beginning, and then later on you can worry about it. The secondary effect is really good in the later game. Now, let's go to the items and look at her stats. So, right now, her base stat, let's look at her base stats. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Bop, 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 bop. This is her base stats at level 1, which is actually decent across the board for level 1. Just because, not health-wise, of course, or protection-wise, but her attack speed and her damage. Her attack speed, basically everything's pretty fine. But level 20, which is the important part, that's where she's at. You can see the numbers. She's all about attack speed and damage. But she doesn't have any damage up because she doesn't know items, but you get what I'm trying to say. So what I usually do for the first item is Watcher's Gift. They kind of changed Watcher's Gift up a little bit, and there are also new actives, one of which is to my right, the other option, Bluestone Pendant. These are two options that are very good for the first item you get. Physical, plus 15 physical power, plus 90 health, and plus 5 magic per second with the Bluestone Pendant. Passive restores 4% of your missing mana every 5 seconds, which is very good, allowing you to send off more of your abilities, and you don't get effed over in the end, because if it allows you that chance to escape with the backflip, because it gives you that extra mana to dish out before you do actually escape. Or Watcher's Gift, which is +1 under health. You can't go wrong with that. And being within range of 60 feet of a minion death without dealing the killing blow rewards for bonus gold, and also restores 10 health and 5 mana, which is decent, very good in the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and click that. That's the one we're going to go with right now. And again, you can go with this one, which will help you, because that you can't say no to the health, and you can't say no to the physical power. And it's kind of the better one because it gives you those extra benefits, but I really like this one because of the gold, the extra gold, which allows you to get the other items faster. The second item on our list is the Aussie. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. What that does is 15% physical lifesteal, 30% attack speed, and then 15 physical penetration. If you drop below 35% health, you gain an additional 25% physical lifesteal for 5 seconds. Can only occur once every 15 seconds, which is decent. The extra penetration and the attack speed is part of the charm of Neath, which you will come to learn on the other items. The next item is Rage. Plus 30 physical power, plus 30% critical strike stance. Sorry. Passive. If your basic attack does not crit, your critical strike chance is increased by 10%. Max stack of 5. Resets on a successful crit. So basically, double your attack. Basically, double your crit chance. Let's say the chances of you not critting within that is insane, because you were at a stack of 5. You are currently at not 60, not 70, sorry. 80, I just effed up. I just made myself look stupid. You're at basically an 80% chance to crit. Now the next item on the list is plus 30 physical power, and the passive, all your physical attacks gain 33% physical penetration. That's the Titan's Bane. I always love the Titan's Bane. It's one of my go-to items when I'm playing an assassin, because that physical power boost plus the penetration is very necessary. So we're going to go ahead and click this, and we're going to go ahead and click this. Now the next two items are optional. The Executioner, which will be plus 30 physical power, plus 25% attack speed. Passive, basic attacks against an enemy reduce your target's physical protection by 8%, an additional 6 points for 3 seconds, max stacks 3. So essentially, might as well have just been a physical penetration buff, because it's essentially what it's kind of doing by lowering the physical protection, just in a little more of a convoluted way. It's more like it's the equivalent of like a plus 5, plus 10 penetration. At least in my mind. Probably more than that, more or less that. Or you can get the Soul Eater, which is plus 300 health, plus 15 physical lifesteal, and plus 10% attack speed. So you're sacrificing power and attack speed for a little bit more survivability and staying power. Which, with your massive attack speed and your chances to crit by the end of this build, does make sense. But that kind of thing is a little better with characters like Fenrir or Kali, who benefit a little more from actual lifesteal. So we're going to go ahead and click the Executioner into this build. Now, next item is the Deathbringer, which is plus 50 physical power, a whopping plus 50, and then a plus 20% critical strike chance. Passive, critical strike damage is increased by 50%. So, calculate this, guys, when we click this in. We are at 50% chance to crit. That's our crit right now. Or, do the math. Sorry. Plus 30. What am I thinking? I was going off of this. So yeah, we're plus 50. And then plus 50 again because of the stacks. So you're at 130% chance. Oh, I messed up the math again. Where did I go to school? I'm talking too fast. I need to think for a second. I'm so sorry. Going back and forth is confusing me. You get the drill. You have massive chance to crit. You're basically on a 100% chance to crit at this point. but your critical strike damage is increased by 50%, which is what cements this into the build. Because now you have a huge critical strike chance. You're attacking massive amounts of times. You're attacking like 1.78 of a second, I guess. I don't know. Your attack speed's 1.78, which is amazing. So you're attacking like rapid fire, plus that's chances of probability being added and stacked to your chances to crit, plus a 50% damage boost on those crits. So it's basically times 3 damage? That's insane. And then that's basically the final item to the list, but you can go ahead and get rid of the Watcher's Gift. At this point, you got all your items. Honestly, you didn't need it all the way through. You could have dropped it around Titan's Bane to get either Quinn's Size, which is physical power up plus 30, then plus 15% attack speed. Passive on basic attack hits, deal physical damage equal to 4% of the target's maximum health. This only affects gods, which is decent. But I usually go for Jotun's Wrath. I'm sorry, my pronunciation isn't very good right now. Because what Jotun's Wrath does, dang it. Why does it do that? 1 second. Sorry, it's weird about that. Plus 40 physical power, plus 150 mana, plus 11 physical penetration, then plus 25% cooldown reduction. So you're going to be doing your abilities a lot. Neath's cooldown is already low enough as it is, and now you're basically popping them out left and right. So in that regard, you could just use the Quinn's Size instead. Here, give me 1 second. Dang it. You could just use the Quinn's Size instead over the Jotun's Wrath because you don't need the extra cooldown time. But I just prefer Jotun's Wrath because of the penetration and the physical power and the mana. It just adds into a nice flavored part of it. And look at her physical power. She's at 180 plus basically 100% chance to crit plus her attack speed. She's doing massive damage. She's raining death upon the enemy at this point. Now, oh my god, I'm sorry. Now the active items I would suggest is Greater Sprint and Greater Purification Beads. Greater Sprint increases your ground speed by 40% for 6 seconds. It also makes you immune to slows for the duration. And you no longer have the movement penalty while firing, which is very interesting. So you can use this very competitively, where you can basically kind of circle your enemy, fire at them as you're kind of chasing them, because you're not slowed while you're firing for those 6 seconds. So you can chase them down and probably hit that kill. And then, or use it for an escape, because sometimes it's just really hard to escape when all those effects are coming at you. Maybe you already used your Greater Purification, you're just trying to get away, you already used your backflip. That could cement your escape in those really, really tight situations. Which leads us to Greater Purification Beads, which is using this item removes crowd control effects and makes you immune to new ones for 3 seconds. This also reduces all god cooldowns by 3%. Cooldown of this item is 90 seconds. Greater Purification is very necessary. Beads in general is very useful. You don't have to use them, but when you're going up against characters like Anubis, Hades, or God forbid, Ymir, you want to have those purifications because you want to try and nullify those heavy crowd control effects that are definitely going to be getting you killed. Because when you're assassins just standing there doing nothing, you're doomed. I mean, not doomed like you're automatically going to die, but you're pretty SOL because what is everybody else going to do for you? They're getting those free hits on you, and it's not going to take a lot before you drop. Add those in, and that's the finish of the build. Aussie for attack speed and penetration, and the physical lifesteal for the extra staying power. Rage, physical power plus physical critical strike chance, blah. Titan's Bane, physical power, 33% physical penetration. Executioner, physical power plus 25% attack speed. Deathbringer, 50 power, 20% critical strike chance, plus 50% critical strike damage. Jotun's Wrath, plus 40 physical power, plus 150 mana, plus 11 physical penetration, which is which is timed by 33% because it's added into the Executioner's ability, and then plus 25% cooldown reduction. Option is the Quinn's Size and the Soul Eater, but this is a suggested route for This is suggested route for her abilities, and this is the end of this dang it. That's the end of this character build. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope it helps you out in coming battles, and test her out. Obviously, this tells you that I am pro auto items, auto levels, which you don't have to do. That being, I'll do a video specifically on the pros and cons to them, because there are pros and there are cons. There's been many a match where I ended up shutting auto items off, like midway, not even, sometimes even at the beginning of the match because something happened. But yet, that'll be for a later date. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day. This is the Punk, signing out.